9/11 was not such a great day for us because my daughter worked in Tower 2, and I dropped her off at the light rail. And when I dropped her off at the light rail, I came back and found out that there was a problem off television. We put the TV on and found out that there was a problem with the towers. So then finally, she called back and told me that there was something wrong because she tried to call the building, or she might have saw one of the towers off the train. She might have saw it on the train, from the train. And she called her office and she didn't get any response, or something happened where she did find out that I should come pick her up. So she did call, and I went back to the train and picked her up.
9/11/2011 was a day that I will never forget. I had been through the World Trade Center that morning, and I think my life is spared. Thank God for that. It was about 10 minutes before that first tower went down, and I made it safely to work. So for all of those who didn't, we will always remember the Sepulveda family.
After the devastation of September 11th, 2001, a group of citizens in Bayonne came together, and they wanted to do something to memorialize those who had died at the World Trade Center, and especially those who had perished who were from the city of Bayonne. And so a committee was created at that time, led by Frank Perucci and a number of other very concerned citizens, who came together and decided that they wanted to put together a memorial. The original concept was a memorial for those individuals from Bayonne who had died in the tragedy that occurred in New York City at the World Trade Center. And so we began to raise money, and there was a number of different groups raising money in Bayonne at that time. At the same time, one of the individuals who I knew for a number of years, Susan Thomases, was involved with an attorney from New York City, Emily Madoff, who was representing Russian artist Tsereteli. They had approached the mayor of Jersey City about placing a memorial in Jersey City, which would be a gift from the people of Russia to the people of the United States, to memorialize all those who perished in the tragedy at the World Trade Center, and to really memorialize the fact that the terrorism was something that all of us in the world should be opposed to and all of us suffer from. And originally, Jersey City was amenable to accepting the memorial. But the end result was that after a great deal of discussion, there was opposition amongst a number of groups to the placement of the memorial at the site that was selected. The Russian government and Tsereteli, who was the president of the Russian Academy of Arts, wanted a site that would be in direct line with the World Trade Center site in New York City. It wanted to be in the same line of vision. Because of the controversy in Jersey City, they determined they weren't going to be able to place that memorial in Jersey City. And Susan Thomases, who I had known for years, came to me and suggested that maybe Bayonne would be interested. I saw a rendering of what the proposed memorial was going to look like, and to me it seemed to be very attractive and something that would be a real asset to the city. And so I proposed the memorial to the Bayonne 9/11 committee. And after a great deal of discussion and meetings with Tsereteli and his representatives, Emily Madoff and Susan Thomases, the committee unanimously agreed that the memorial would be appropriate for Bayonne. At the same time, the peninsula of Bayonne Harbor was in the process of being finally turned over from the Army to the city of Bayonne. We were planning always to have a park at the end of the peninsula because that was a beautiful location, and it was appropriate for the people in the city of Bayonne who never had any access to the old military ocean terminal, one of the things that when we did surveys of the public was that they wanted access. They wanted to be able to walk on the peninsula, to have access to the peninsula. And parks were an important part of that. Well, the park was going to be built, at the tip of the peninsula. And the park was going to be built by the city of Bayonne. And we were going to use money from Green Acres, the state money, as well as money from the Hudson County Open Space Trust, together with some city money. And that's what we did. We did build that park. And that was the location that we determined would be the best location because it was in the line of sight to the World Trade Center, direct line of sight. When we showed the site to Serratelli, he immediately became enamored of it and felt that it was a perfect location for the memorial that he was going to design and build. So there was an agreement that by the 9/11 committee in Bayonne that we would want that memorial. The site was acceptable to Serratelli, and so we began to build the park using money from the state and the county as well as some city money. The park in the end cost somewhere between $2.5 and $3 million to build because we had to build a bulkhead, we had to completely redo that area. The citizens of Bayonne paid a very small part, maybe I don't remember, but it's something like $200,000 to $300,000. The rest was the money from the county, money from the state, the Green Acres money, and some money from the federal government through the local redevelopment authority. At the same time, Serratelli went back to Russia and worked on the monument. The monument was fabricated in Russia, in pieces. Once it was fabricated in Russia, it came over on a ship and was unloaded at the military ocean terminal, Peninsula Bayonne Harbor. He then brought over craftsmen from Russia who spent almost 3 months here putting it together. The artist was responsible for actually erecting the memorial so that the pilings that hold the memorial up, because the memorial is so large, 100 feet high, the pilings were put in by Serratelli. And the cost for doing all of that, the actual placement of the pilings and then the actual building of the memorial, putting it all together, doing the marble work around it, all of that was done by the Russian artisans at the cost to the Russian government. There was no cost to the city of Bayonne. The city of Bayonne built the park. The Russian government paid for the building of the monument. And so the monument was built in the park and was dedicated 5 years from the date of the tragedy in New York, the terrorism attack. It was dedicated on September 11, 2006, 5 years to the date. The year before, the Russian President Putin was here to break ground for the monument, and a memorial stone was created, which is also in the park, to commemorate the groundbreaking. And at the date of the dedication, former President Clinton came to dedicate the monument together with Homeland Security Secretary Chertoff and a number of other dignitaries, and the monument was dedicated on September 11, 2006. At the same time, the committee wanted to also commemorate the individuals from Bayonne. The monument has the names of all those who died on September 11, 2001. The committee put together a memorial for just those who had died from the city of Bayonne, including Bill Macko, who had died in 1993 in the first bombing of the World Trade Center. And that memorial was placed a year later. This year, we have included the piece of steel from the World Trade Center. So the committee's to be commended. They've done an exceptional job. Frank Perucci and all the members of the committee, and Jerry Kelly especially, who's been involved with the pavers. The pavers have been added to allow the citizens of Bayonne, and not only Bayonne, anyone who has some form of commitment relationship to the events of September 11th, 2001, to place pavers in the park to commemorate their family, their friends, and those who may have died. And that is ongoing.